Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Michael here for MMOBomb.com here at E3 2014. We're at the Bethesda booth checking out BattleCry, a new free-to-play action fighter game here. Of course, we got Rich, the executive producer on BattleCry for Bethesda. Rich, can you tell us a little bit about BattleCry? What exactly is it?
Well, BattleCry is an action combat game, a multiplayer action combat game. And so what we did is we took the inspiration of single-player games like Devil May Cry, God of War, and Arkham Asylum, and made it multiplayer. So we have 5 warriors that we're introducing in 2 factions right now, which are the Cossacks, which are Russian-backed factions, and the British Empire. And the British Empire is more regimental, where the Cossacks are more like wild type of combat. So each faction has its own type of combat style. And when you play the game, you're in a war zone, we call it, in which 32 players, 16 versus 16, are in this war zone battling for the victory of that war zone. And basically, it's kind of like what I described as kind of warriors versus World of Tanks. So you have tiers that you can develop over time, get better equipment, better technology as you develop, and then this game is a world without gunpowder. So we wanted to make sure that the combat was intimate and close. We have both ranged and melee and support classes in our game. So it's kind of cool. The sessions last for about 20 minutes, and then you go in and play another one. So again, it's kind of like what I call, it's Team Fortress 2 meets the gore of 300.
Nice. Now, I got a chance to play a little bit of it. I got a chance to test out a couple of the character classes, and they did all seem to have their own sort of unique style of play. Would you say that depending on your play style, some character classes are slower paced than others? So the game overall seems very action paced, but are there slower classes there for those that want more methodical play? Yeah,
actually there is. If you want to be a tech archer, that's kind of a ranged person, and you can like strategically place yourself on the map. We have a lot of verticality to our map. That's traditional, you see in traditional FPSs. We actually applied that to our map as well. So if you want tactical moves as an archer, you can do that. We haven't really talked much about our gadgeteer because we haven't really shown it here. We announced it, but our gadgeteer is a support role, so you can imagine what that's like. So you don't have to be right up there from. But again, our game is about fast-paced, intimate combat, and that's what we're about. So that's what we want to make sure that we really specialize in, is like you would see on console games like God of War or Arkham Asylum. Our combat is very much fast-paced, fluid.
Now, each class has their own, each warrior has their own abilities per se. Can these abilities be changed out or swapped depending on what your loadout is?
Absolutely. As you gain more tiers, as you advance, you have different abilities you can place. The reason why we use 3 abilities you can use in the game at once, we wanted to keep it simple. In most games anyway that I play, I only use about 3 or 4 abilities anyway that I keep and throw away as I advance. So basically, we want to make sure we keep the combat very simple and very cool. So we have a lot of depth to our game in our map design, as well as in our way each warrior plays.
Now, currently what we played today was Deathmatch. Do you guys have other modes planned?
We'll have multiple modes at least released. We just wanted to show our basic mode, which is Team Deathmatch, but we'll have objectives and other types of modes coming through soon.
Is there any sort of overarching sort of progression for your, mentioned there's 3 factions. Is there progression for each faction, like sort of like owning part of the map or something like that?
There is a meta game where we have control over the map based on what faction you play, and those points are earned.
With 3 factions, is there any opportunity to see 3-on-3, faction play?
We haven't really talked about that yet, but you can use your imagination. I'll just leave it at that.
Nice, nice. All right, now currently the game is in pre-alpha. You have a beta scheduled for 2015.
We're going to definitely open up beta in early 2015, so look out for it.
All right. Do you have a favorite class that you currently play?
I personally love the Tech Archer. It's kind of a cool class to play. I don't like to be a tank up in the front of the battle. I always like to strategically play. I also like to play the Duelist, which is more of an assassin type role where you get in and out very quickly. So those are my 2 favorite.
Now I know it's sort of early on, but really quickly, because this is a free-to-play game, I'm assuming that you're committed not to pay to win. Can you kind of talk about what your microtransactions are?
Yeah, we don't really talk about that yet, but I will tell you that we are not set up to pay to win. That's not what we're about. We're play to win. So there are 2 types of currency you earn in the game, which we'll talk about later. but one you earn in the game and one you buy, and we want to make sure that people who play our game can play our game for free without any gates whatsoever, like you have in other free-to-play games. And we want to make sure that people can advance if they want to by how they play the game.
Rich, well, it was a great pleasure meeting you today and checking out BattleCry. I hope it does well, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks.